Every single person that you'll meet will tell you that being a high value woman simply means that not giving a damn about any man, just having your guards up and being someone who's absolutely hard to get. But that's not true. There's so much more in order to become a high value woman. Hi everyone, I'm Ekta and welcome back to my channel. Today let's talk about how to become a high value woman. Let me be honest, one of the reasons why you're here right now watching this video because of these possibilities. Either people take you for granted or you're tired of pleasing people. You don't know what your value is and you always end up succumbing to people, aka you want to be likable and you want to do everything to appease them. So let this video be a guide for you to understand the traits of being a high value woman, mistakes that women often make that takes them and makes them a low value person, and three most important foundations on which value is determined. So before any further ado, let's get started. Okay, let me be clear that being a high value woman does not mean that you're going to work on how people perceive you, how do they rate you, how desirable they think you look like, but it's about your personal growth. It's about your concept of self. It's about you becoming the queen of your life and getting over this imbalance of wanting someone else to treat you like a queen or a princess. Because no matter how great you look, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, but the way you conduct yourself, the way you present yourself dictates your energy. Your action dictates and determines your worth, and this is absolutely utmost. Because when you accept anything and everything, you end up losing your value. You end up losing your power to be something. Your identity looks so vague, so unclear. It's like you become a dog without a leash, or let me just say that a dog without a home. Because you don't know where do you belong. And to be honest, a well-defined woman makes a man exercise self-control because he knows that you are someone who does not entertain BS, who will not let him take you for granted. So here are 6 traits that makes a woman high in value. Number 1, self-awareness. You know, high value women possess a deep understanding of themselves, including what their strengths are, their weaknesses, their values, their goals. They are so much aware of their moves or their strategies or how do they conduct themselves, and they mindfully act on it. They're so self-introspective and continually look for self-improvement. A high-value woman is so aware of who she is as an individual, about her beliefs, about where she's coming from, and she will not follow something blindly. Number 2 is independence. You know, independence has received so much of backlash, especially from men, because they think that female who are independent simply means that they shut down men, they're shunning away men. They feel that female independence is about she being an alpha, where they lash out men who try to have an agency over her. But that's not true. It simply means that they are self-reliant. They value relationship and connection both while valuing her own independence, valuing her own autonomy, valuing her space, valuing her discipline. And it has nothing to do with men because she feels it's her own journey. Because for all this while, we've seen that women have received this definition, or maybe they've been identified as the better half for men. They are someone who fulfills a man, but man is someone who is whole in himself. We've seen a lot of misconstrued meaning that's been given to independent females, but let me say that this is absolutely bullshit and it's false. Because independence simply means that taking ownership of her life, taking full responsibility of her life, meaning valuing support as well as being involved. It's like taking charge and focusing on solution whenever any kind of a discomfort arises, than adding insult to the injury by acting needy. Because earlier, the kind of structure that people had or the opinion that people had about women, they were more into the supporting role, but now they're focusing on the independence. It simply means that having a voice of their own, someone who knows where she's coming from, someone who knows that her opinion also matters. And that's what high value women really honor. Which of course takes us to our point number 3, which is self-respect. You know, women who respect themselves so confident and they sign up for things that bring them growth and success and not drama and toxicity. They totally prioritize their well-being and refuse to settle for anything that is less than what they think they deserve. I see a lot of women who end up succumbing to or end up accepting roles or accepting people or relationships that are less than they deserve. They accept abuse, whether it's verbal, mental, emotional, because they don't value and respect themselves. And high value women don't do that. And I'm not talking only from a relationship perspective, but also at their workplace, whether in families. They don't entertain politics, they don't entertain dramas at workplace. They raise their opinion not just for themselves, but also for someone else whom they think are not being treated well. So high value women are someone who are authentic and true to themselves and even to others. Speaking out my own experience, because I was a malleable person. I was someone who would give up on my opinion. I wouldn't really stand on what I would believe in, because I think that, and that was the time when I didn't respect myself enough. I didn't think that my opinions really mattered. In fact, I was too flexible to not even stand up for my own morals and my values. That's actually not a sign of a high value woman. When you really act up on your morals, or you stand firm on your beliefs, no one can ever cross those boundaries. Then number 4 is emotional intelligence. A lot of people think that being a high value woman simply means that you are a less emotional person. You are such an alpha female. You don't give a damn about other people's emotion. You are not empathetic, but that's not true. I really feel sad for how these whole beliefs that people have towards high value women is so misconstrued. Kind of hurts me and pains me that being a high value person or high value women is all about being emotional and empathetic towards the other person. It's about understanding where this other person is coming from, whether at workplace, family, whether in your relationships, whether with random strangers. You don't act mean. You just understand and you step into other person's shoes and see where are they coming from. And that emotional intelligence is being backed by our other trait. The most important trait is resilient. Women with high value are so resilient. They face the odds in its face rather than just running away from the problem. Women who are high in value, their defense mechanism is not about using flight or freeze. They do not escape route. They do not even bear the brunt of a person who causes them pain or problem or discomfort. Whenever she is bombarded with any kind of crisis, she chooses to be right there, fight against the odds, face the problem and gets through it. It's basically to throw the caution to the wind. But why does she do that? Because of her 6th trait, that is ambition and drive. High value women are not afraid to pursue their passion, their goals, their opinions. They know that they have to stand by what they believe. They are someone who absolutely take risks and work hard to create the life that they want. It's easier said than done to walk against the wind, because we do have a lot of different standards, men and women in this society. We're still living in a very patriarchal society. We're living in a society which does back misogyny a lot more than understanding things from a female perspective. Let's take an example that a lot of life goals or career goals are being predetermined for women. Like a lot of family members, they decide what the female of the house should be doing. But for men, they've been given like an open space, an open ground, all this liberty to choose what they want in their life. But only high value woman will set her timelines her way. She is the one who will break through all the generational traumas, or she will break through these biases and opinions that people hold against her. She is the one who will let her ambition and drive over the societal pressures and baggages. And if you think you're one of those, just make sure to give a thumbs up to this video, because now we're jumping on to our next segment, that is mistakes that you really need to stop making if you really want to become a high value person. A lot of times we end up making mistakes that literally degrades our role, that puts us down, that takes us from being a high value person to a low value woman. I remember once Sadia Khan, who is a psychologist, who mentioned that a high value woman is the one who not just knows who she is as an individual, but she knows that she adds value to people's life. She adds value by fulfilling others' emotional needs, by bringing her best self to the table, takes away your emotional discomfort, or creates a safe space for you to be vulnerable. She's also someone who collaboratively works with you as your finance partner, etc., etc. So a high value woman is not someone who is too needy, who is a leech, who sucks energy, who creates drama in order to get the attention. So in order to become a high value woman, here are the 3 mistakes you really need to stop making. Number 1, compromising on your personal values. Don't be so fickle when it comes to your personal belief systems or your ethics. Stay authentic about your beliefs and your values. Stick to your guns. Because I know that sometimes we compromise on our values to be able to fit into this category, to this group, to a set of people, to this set of friends, because I used to do that. I used to let go of my values, my opinions. I used to let go of who I was as an individual just because I wanted people to acknowledge me. And sometimes we all make these mistakes, but if you really want to be a high value person, don't compromise on your personal values. It's so important because it makes people doubt your integrity. And for someone who stands for what they believe in, people just respect them for who they are, even if they don't agree with it sometimes, but they'll respect you. Because a lot of times people may not like you for being different, for acting different, for being so distinct than how they are, but you will always garner their respect. Why? Because you are someone who's firm on your boundaries, who's firm on what you believe in. Uphold your ethical principles even in a challenging situation. Number 2 is neglecting self-care. Just because you want to be a part of all the parties, you just can't say yes to everything and neglect your mental health, your emotional health. A lot of times we end up saying yes to things we don't want to, and it's completely fine to own your nose. I've learned to do that. I used to be a person, I used to say yes to everything because I had this fear of missing out. I had this FOMO, and I think most of the times I used to operate out of FOMO. You don't have to. Take this as a lesson from your elder sister that it's important to prioritize rest, self-care, your me time, and indulge into activities that promotes your health, your mental health, your happiness, and sticking to your safe space. If it means saying no to your closest people when you don't feel like saying a yes. And number 3 is settling for less. And we've already discussed this, right? A lot of people end up settling less in just relationship, but in career opportunities, in their paychecks. There's a twist in this. A lot of women actually think that they deserve less. That's the problem. When you start believing that it's okay, I am completely complacent with what I have right now, I don't strive for more, that's fine. If you're comfortable, if you are satisfied with what you have and how much you get, if you know that internally you deserve more, when you internally you feel that you have that drive, ambition, you have that talent in you, who deserves more than what you are getting right now, it's time to fight for it. Because a high value woman not only sets high standards for herself, but she also strives for excellence in her life, and she takes risks and ensures that she is working through it, which also means that she avoids making this mistake, is indulging in gossip and drama. High value women does not thrive on these things, because let's be honest, participating in gossip, drama, negative talk actually undermines one's credibility and integrity. If you want to be a high value woman, stop engaging in or perpetuating gossip. Just focus on constructive conversation and constructive feedback. It also means that if you have problem with someone, make sure that you communicate with the person and not with other people about this person. And I love this quote that says that great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people. So let people be whoever they want to be while you stick to being a high quality person. And honestly, it takes a lot of work to become a high value person. I remember I was not one of those. I used to act needy, clingy. I used to always have this anxiety of what people think about me, what's their opinion about me. And don't get me wrong, there are times we all feel that, because I think we live in a society or in a world where there's cutthroat competition, where everyone wants to be on the top. And regardless of how you look at the world, it's important and extremely imperative for you to know your value, who you are. I'm not saying that it was an easy work for me. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of consistency for us. But you can become a high value person and follow these traits in order to become one. Because once you become a high value person, once you reach a specific certain threshold, you will never go back to being so fickle, so needy, so clingy, because you know you deserve something so pure and high value thing. When we talk about value, what really determines value? So here we're going to talk about our last leg of this video, which is 3 important foundations on which value is determined. Apart from all the things that we've spoken about, we are now going to talk about things that actually defines value for us. So first and foremost is, how do you look at yourself? Revamp and upgrade yourself, upgrade from your former self. It's pretty natural for you to go back to your original disposition, to choose something which is comfortable for you, something that doesn't serve you well, but also at the same time it's so comfortable. But honestly, putting yourself out of your comfort zone and doing hard things is absolutely what makes you sexy. Because continuous personal growth is a hallmark of a high value woman. So challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone. Do things that are hard. Like someone told me, one of the reasons she enrolls herself in different classes because she wants to beat her comfortable self. She wants to try and experiment with different things. She wants to stop becoming so complacent at one thing, but rather want to put herself out there. And that's actually a quality of being a high value woman. And I love what Maya Angelou once said: do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better. So every single day, choose a task that makes you feel a bit uncomfortable. For example, if you're an introvert and you hesitate to start a conversation with someone or network with people, just start writing a cold email to person you want to connect with, or start writing cold email to the companies that you want to work with. Start smiling or striking a small conversation with some random stranger. If you're going out for a walk, just smile at someone or strike a conversation, say hi, hello. These are the little things that puts you out there. It just starts expanding your comfort zone gradually. Let me give you my example. I was a person who was extremely shy. I didn't know how to strike a conversation. I would be so uncomfortable when someone would just look at me and say something. I'd be like, thank you. And I would just move away from that conversation because it used to just give me jitters and anxiety as to how will this person look at me if I say something? What will they think about? But now tables have turned. It's important to kind of put yourself out there, and I think only through consistency and when you push yourself a little bit more. I know you need a push, but once you do that, once you get into this habit of pushing yourself, you just keep getting better. Trust me, and this is coming from my own experience. Then comes number 2 that actually determines our value. How do you operate yourself in social settings? How do you put yourself out there in work and social settings? And the most important fundamental is self-respect. Self-respect should be one of the non-negotiables when it comes to your value system. So when I say self-respect, it simply means that setting boundaries. Sometimes we end up taking bullshit from people we don't owe anything. That means that you are breaking your own boundaries. It's important for you to set boundaries, firm boundaries, such that the other person knows you will not settle for less, which means that you will not entertain anything that does not help me grow as a person. And I know that at some point in our life, we all have broken our own boundaries. Only because we want to be loved, to be acknowledged, we want to be recognized by someone, because we have this need to be validated by other people around us, whether it's family, loved ones, random people, social media, all of that. Sometimes we break our own boundaries just because we want to be liked. But as Eleanor Roosevelt once stated, that no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Stay firm about your boundaries, stay firm in your convictions, and prioritize your well-being. That's how you operate yourself in social setting, where you're a substance of high value, where you are an epitome of, you are an example of, you do what you say. And honestly, knowing your boundaries and adhering to those are two different things. A lot of times I see people, it could be as small as bad mouthing your ex to your current partner, or to your friends, your family. This other person understands that you do not respect people. Because let me be honest, the ex that you're bad mouthing about was someone you were fairly and deeply in love with, right? And who gives you that authority, that autonomy to put bad information about or create like a bad impression of this person across someone else? Which simply means you're not a high value person. Because high value women simply knows that fine, we did not work out together as a couple, but this person and I are two distinct people, and we both respect each other's discrepancies or differences or individualistic approach. So operating morally correct in social setting, or someone who's empathetic, or someone who is way more cognizant of where she's coming from, where the other person is coming from, this is what makes a woman high in value. So when I say that high value women conduct themselves way more ethically right in social settings, also means that she's someone who has low tolerance for bullshit, which means if someone mocks me or makes fun of me in front of 10 people, I will be firm enough to back myself, to stop this person then and there and not tolerate BS. So being a high value person simply means what someone else's value is, and she never degrades others to one up herself. It simply means that listening to the other person, holding space for others, withholding judgment, emotionally connecting and communicating when required. A lot of people think that women who are high in value is tantamount to no F's given. No, she is the one who knows when to give an F, how much to give, and in what doses, and whom to give it. So a high value woman is not someone who looks for external validation. She appreciates a validation. There's a difference. But she does not solely seek the validation as a source of her self-worth, as someone that determines who she is. I remember, when I was in college, I used to have this friend who used to bully me, mock me, make fun of me. She used to label me, and I would never back myself. I never had the damn guts to speak for myself, because I knew if I would do that, I would be expelled from the group. And because I wanted to be a part of this social circle, I didn't want to be socially isolated. I used to literally take in all this bullshit. Glad that isn't the case anymore, because now when I look back, it gives me an ache that I let people walk all over me. And then comes the last most important factor which determines our value, is being financially independent. Honestly, no one tells you about how financial independence can give you a pair of wings to fly. The outside world speaks only one language, the language of money, because money buys you respect and influence and a feeling of belongingness. I know a lot of people say that money shouldn't define you, but let me be brutally honest here. Money just grants you a sense of freedom, a sense of security. It gives you the power to own who you are. Look, I'm not asking you to look at money from a negative prospect, from prospect of power. And I am not saying that money is the only way or the only door to earning respect or earning a sense of belongingness or a door to becoming a valuable person. There are many contributors that makes you a high value person apart from money. Is how do you treat someone? How do you operate yourself during the time of adversity? And how empathetic you are towards others' problems and their needs. But money as a tool just empowers you, and money is a double-edged sword. So financial independence just allows you to take charge of your life. It helps you make firm decisions about what you want, how you want. So being a high value person simply means that you have good self-esteem, which means you know what you are, who you are. You're cognizant of your decisions. You're cognizant of how you are as an individual. Even if you think that if you lack somewhere, you work on it instead of blaming someone else. A high value person she's someone who knows her worth. She's intuitive, she's nurturing, while she's fierce and she puts herself out there. It's like a whole system of duality that she owns. And while at the same time, she has a high level of emotional intelligence. And she's someone who holds herself accountable for how she's behaved or how she's conducted herself. This is all you need to become a high value person. Don't let someone else determine who you should be. You should decide for yourself who you want to be, how much you want to be. And if someone says that you're too much for me, just ask them to go find less. And that's it for today. I hope you really liked this video. I know it was quite a long video. I should have actually given you a warning to have a nice cup of coffee along with some popcorn, such that you could have enjoyed it all the more. But if you really enjoyed this whole feminine energy in this video, make sure to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to share it with your girlfriends. Very, very, very important. Please share this video with them such that they can become a high value just the way you are and you want to be. And don't forget to leave a comment and tell me what video do you want me to make, and I'll see you guys very soon.